Ooh. Whew. Yeah. How does that work? Mikey Mike. How are you, sir?
Good, man. I saw you went live on Instagram. I didn't go in. I didn't see what was happening. But
I was just prepping the meal. I was prepping the snack. I figured since I was going to go healthy, I would actually. So you didn't even know. Yes. I didn't know what we were going to have. So I went with a healthier choice today. And so I figured I might as well show how we're going to build it. And then we'll talk about it. Pretty pumped about it. Anyways, we are Munchies with Max. Or this is Munchies with Max. We are actually Max Fit USA and CrossFit Costa Mesa. I am Maximilian Mormont, Hermit Coach. And on the ones and twos, I got Mikey Wins. Mikey Wins. My man came in clutch today. First solo class all morning, 6 a.m. Came in hot, huh? How did that go? Everything well?
Yeah, it went fine. Good? No one was pissing off the substitute today, so it's all good.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fact that came out, that card came out so quickly. I'm super. They got restless quick, huh? They don't care. Immediately, substitute teacher. I used to have a substitute teacher in high school. Very creepy, but he always used to pass out like he worked for Airwalks, yeah, Airwalks. And he always used to pass out like pencils and shoes, and like he always had like a swag, always slinging swag. So you could imagine when he was our sub, everybody was really, really cool. Tuesday, Wednesday, really rough days of training. Good workouts though, really good workouts. A lot of high skill to low skill or low skill to high skill, and like with just the proper amount of intensity and volume to kind of goat you into almost going to failure or thinking, oh, the end's going to be easy and then just getting hit at the end. I almost call it like Tron, like you're going and then you don't make it on the other side of the motorcycle. So those are always interesting workouts, but those were good. Whew. What do you think, Mike? Those were pretty interesting. They were good ones, though.
Yeah, definitely good ones.
All right, so let's look at my snack here today. It is. I got to figure out an overhead cam, maybe.
And there we were adding a fifth camera to the feed.
Hey, they just dropped the price on these Zoom cameras. They're cheap now. So I'm like, why not put one everywhere? So I made pretzels, tomatoes, cheese, and salami. And I have salami. I have 4 different types of cheese. I think, what did I say? I said, shoot. I know I had cheddar. I had some habanero, some Haiti cheese, and Gouda. Gouda was it. All right. Well, one pretzel. One slice of cheese, I split it in half. The cheese was about 140 calories for 2 slices. So 70 slices or 70 calories per slice. I got 4. So we're still sitting around 300 calories just for cheese alone. And then salami, I didn't have. I must have got rid of the part that told me the caloric intake on that. I should have checked my pretzels. The pretzels was the flat pretzel. Normally, I don't necessarily need to put salt on the tomato, but I would assume salami, 1 ounce.
So you made yourself a nightable, like a late night version of a Lunchable,
right? Like a meat and cheese charcuterie, but Lunchable style.
Yeah, you
Right.
just need a little snack, like a little Reese's cup and a Capri Sun.
Isn't that what a Lunchable is? It's like a charcuterie plate to go.
Yeah, you literally they trained us young. You get a cracker, cheese, and ham.
Yeah. And then they call it mortadella to try to spice it up. It's effing bologna. Don't lie to me. It's bologna. It's bologna. It's still got an olive in it. Stop it. All right. So I don't know what salami is. You find anything on salami?
I can. You know what brand it was?
No.
Just get a generic one.
When you pull that out, I'm gonna go run and look at the pretzels. I totally spaced on that. But now I'm curious because if we're at 300 calories for just the cheese alone, and the salami might be, I'm saying about 30, maybe 50 calories. I don't think that much, but
No, you were right on the slut. So one slice of salami is 40 calories.
Spooky.
Dee. That's where you should press that button. Yeah, one slice of salami is 40 calories. Let's zoom in here, guys. 40 calories, 3.5 grams of fat. Oh, I didn't realize salami had any fat in it. Carbohydrates, 0.1 grams. And then almost 2 grams of proteins here. Let's see what salami is. This is Genoa salami. You got a little bit of potato. There's niacin in salami. I think you're muted. Muted.
That's like when some people go on a diet and they start eating deli meat for multiple meals a day. And you're like, no, that's not going to help you. Because they have stuff like niacin, too much of it in there.
No wonder people get meat sweats.
Yeah, totally. Sodium and everything else in there. Yeah, loaded up. So the pretzels was 110 for 11. I had 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah.
Okay,
so let's just say 100. Let's round up. So 110 for the pretzels, 300 for the cheese, the tomatoes, a wash, but let's say 50.
I thought tomatoes don't have like a calorie count.
No, but let's just give them some because I put Italian seasoning on it. And so, what do we say with the salami? 8 times 30, 8 times 40.
8 times 40, so 320 per slice. Well, that's per slice though. Like a slice of salami, you're looking at like 4 inches, 3 inches, right?
These are about 2. So what do you and the Reese's, but that's what I'm saying right now, just a snack alone, the salami, the cheese was 300. We're at a 410. We said let's round up to 450, and then for all the salami on there, let's say another 200 calories, 240 calories.
Yeah, maybe 640 calories. 640.
Yeah, 640. I'm having a healthy meal, like a healthy snack. What's wrong? What's wrong with my healthy snack? Why am I at over 500 calories? Because I mean, most people don't even have 300 calories for breakfast.
See, that's where we can't, like, calorie counting is great if you want to, in my opinion, if you want to like lose weight or gain weight or whatever. But the micronutrient inside of your current snack, as opposed to like a Haribo or something.
Yeah. The quality of the snack. Like at least here, I'm getting something like some protein, some quality protein, some cheese. What's going on here? Chocolate cake.
No, remember, I guess they were talking about that chocolate cake last time.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was somebody's birthday. It's 7 today. Did anybody get? I saw some cake on the table.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
I wasn't there.
Man. Yeah, none of us were there. We know Steven ate some. The night coaches did. I know there's not going to be no cake left in the refrigerator for the morning coaches. No, welcome. No. Rachel, didn't I just see you? And you were out there making cakes? You could have dropped one off to me. Okay. So back to my 640 calories. Yeah, the micronutrients is much better than my Haribo worms.
Sour Jolly Ranchers.
Oh man.
Man, those are so good. Oh, it's Ray's birthday.
Uh-huh. Normally you don't call people out like that, Mike.
I was Ray's birthday. I legit drove to pick up a slice and left.
Smart. Not to say happy birthday, but
yeah, just to grab the cake.
Guys, I can't.
You can't write that. You can't write that. That just happened. He threw himself under the bus.
Right?
All right.
Happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday, buddy. Okay. And good job on the chocolate cake, apparently.
Almost is still not doing it.
Let me see. Tuesday workout?
Yeah, got it right here. What did you want to start with? Did you want to do the dumbbell or did you want to do the high clean?
Let's see what the high clean was.
Here we go. All right, let's see some of the gym results here. Boom. All right, we got some big numbers thrown up here. Let's see, our average between the men of poundage lifted is 2209, 2,209 pounds. Then we have, for the women here, we have almost 1,400 pounds lifted on average. Let's see, on the men's side here, West.
I wonder if we can look into our gym's average women's body weight and our gym's average male's body weight. We'll look into that.
Yeah, I don't think I have access to that one.
Tomorrow. Yeah, see if we can find that. And if not, we'll just ask people to put in their weights. That'd be interesting. Because then we can correlate that tonnage to the weight or average weight. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so Wes leading the pack over here on the guy's side with 2940 here. Let's see what he has. Why isn't it loading?
For his oof. Oof.
Oof.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Day one stuff. Did you rewire your house?
Yeah, we rewired the whole entire place.
Didn't like it. It doesn't like your 700 feet of wire.
Well, no, it's running StreamYard just fine. Beyond the whiteboard's not working here.
No, and your picture looks phenomenal, actually.
Where the heck? All right. Well, let me try this again.
Okay. If not, I can just go on to my rant. I think I have. I should probably have it up.
Nope. Beyond the whiteboard's dead.
Dead to me beyond the whiteboard. Dead to me. So yeah, the hang clean was fast, man. That one got me. My hip did not like that, but I was able to lift fairly well. I was pretty excited about. Much better than my snatch went. Let me tell you, no misses, but man, it was tough. Let's see here. So I wanted to talk about in my rant more about watching people self-sabotage. It's hard to stay away from this sometimes, this kind of mindset, especially with everything happening nowadays, and then just the year of the 2020. So I find myself, I really kind of like this list. I found parts of other lists, and then I really started thinking about being aware of self-sabotage. You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing to have these thoughts. And then when they come up, and like even when I'm training or when I was trying to be competitive or anything like that, they always come up. And it's what you do when they do come up is what truly kind of corrects and builds upon itself, right? So having self-sabotage thoughts and being able to correct it and build on it will make you stronger. Suddenly letting it break you down and then kind of letting it get you to quit or fall off or not be consistent, then almost like the little voice one type of deal. So the first thing I would tell you is that number one is you complaining, right? So self-sabotaging, it comes from like you complaining. And that's the first thing that immediately something starts becoming a grind. And I like grinding stuff out. Suddenly I'm like, wow, wow, wow. And I got to catch myself like, okay, move on from that. Move on from that. Two, the panic, right? Like, oh shit, this is setting in. I got to get out of here. I got to do something. I gotta react. That's not a bad thing. Take your panic, take a second, step back, and then kind of almost, if it's an immediate response where it's like a fight or flight situation, obviously kind of almost try to disconnect and then re-engage. And then hopefully you find that flow state. But if you have time, always take, they always like to talk about the 24-hour sleep on it type of deal. And that's always something where it's kind of nice. Not to say that in the day you're actually going to feel better when you wake up. Sometimes I feel worse. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, now I've almost focused on it too much. I'm burnt out on it. So number three, you try to be a superhero. Jumping into action too quickly or being the martyr isn't always the best case scenario, because you might be needed in the war later. So being aware that there's a time to be a superhero and there's a time not to. There's a time to panic and there's a time not to. There's a time to, there's really no time to complain, but you should do a little self-complaining and then correct it. But I like these top 10 reasons here that I like about self-sabotage, specifically because it's geared towards this idea of how I can look at it and then be like, okay, I can have these feelings, right? So like being a superhero. Number 4, step on toes. So it's sometimes you might actually, like I was thinking about this, the other 3 things you might actually need to do to actually not self-sabotage, but actually be successful. So you might actually have to kind of complain a little bit to the ref. You might have to actually set a little bit of a panic to get a little bit of a fight or flight to react better, get into that flow state, and then act like a superhero at the right time, and then become that superhero that you wanted to be and needed to be. But stepping on toes is like almost burning bridges. And when you burn bridges and you burn too much of them, you become on an island, right? You put yourself on an island. So you have to be very aware of stepping on toes and when it's needed and when it's not, and know that it's probably most likely never needed, because that's burning a bridge. So staying away from burning a bridge at all costs is key. And that's where a lot of that will create self-sabotage and almost like career sabotage, or even greater, like where you'll shut down so much that it's going to be hard to get off that island. Number 5, you brown nose. Nobody likes a brown noser. Teacher. Sometimes it's funny. Like especially in fitness when you have to do conditioning and then somebody's like, coach is like, all right, you're done for the day. And then someone's like, hey, don't we have this extra work to do? And then coach is like, yeah, that's right, I forgot. And then you're like, so sometimes it's funny where everybody has to do like work like that. But if it's somewhere where you're like always trying to be a teacher or coach to get ahead or to get out of not coming to practice or things of that nature, those things are just going to set you up for failure, because they're just going to set you up more to be lazy. So even if you somewhat get successful, there's a skill there that you're not actually going to develop that's needed, which is hard work. Number 6, you sap morale. Nobody likes the Eeyore of the group. Eeyore. Mikey, I know you want to chime in on this. Eeyore, you're muted. Going back to muted.
Mexican
Eeyore or
standoff.
Igor?
It's
Eeyore
Eeyore.
or Igor?
Eeyore.
Okay, yeah. So
Marvel
Igor,
or Marvel?
Igor is the guy with the hunchback and
Yeah.
the castle.
Frankenstein. Yeah.
Frankenstein. Eeyore,
Is the stuffed mule donkey
the
from the
sad,
zoo.
sad, the one that's like, hey guys, are we doing this again? Okay. That guy will take it out of you in a heartbeat, right out of you. So be aware of if you're starting to sap other people based on your moral kind of aura that you're putting out. I'm pretty specific, even when people are in my gym or people that I coach. I don't really allow for that to happen very often. So I'll let you get away with a day, maybe two. I'll ask you like what's happening. And then if it's nothing really where I'm like, oof, come on, I'll just start poking the bear. So I'll just either make you get real mad at me, or I'll get you to really kind of change that mentality to be so, hey guys, sappy. Because other people are going to draw on that. They're always going to feel that energy, and that's something that it's not really fair in a group environment. It's not even fair on personal training, one-on-one. You're going to take that person's hour just telling them, wah, wah. Where's my? Here we go. Okay, the fat finger got the scary music too. So number 7, you don't think for yourself. You don't think for yourself. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? That's going to be self-sabotaging for the fact that you're thinking based off of either other people, what they're influencing you by, or the group that you're with. So thinking for yourself is key to being successful. Number 8, you try to be as consistent through leadership, or what did I say? Yeah, consistent through leader, constant thought leader. Sorry. So this what I was saying here is you're constantly you're being a constant thought leader is like someone who is changing frequently based off of either what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're kind of your immediate influence, right? And that's not a bad thing, once again. But when you're constantly changing, especially as a leader, and you're changing the message that you're giving the people around you. So imagine as a coach, I come in and then one day I'm saying, okay, hey, we got to be strength bias. And then, okay, hey, we got to be gymnastics bias. Hey, if I don't say we're going to use this as a cyclical program, and you hear me saying this year in, year out, and almost any time you've actually looked back in my career of coaching, I talk about that's how I program for my athletes and for my general population. That's very specific to understanding my educational base and my ability to motivate. Whereas if I'm constantly changing that kind of message, you'll get a little kind of almost diluted because it's not really mine, right? It's almost where I'm just one of many. I'm just giving a message that everybody else is giving. It's not my specific message. So the unity or the individuality of it will kind of get washed down. Number 9, you have poor communication skills. Poor communication skills. Again, we all get this at some point. We get so frustrated, or we just get so tired. We get poor communication skills. When you start noticing that, this is a great time to taking a step back. Maybe see if you can get somebody else involved in it. Build kind of almost like a gratitude diary, but also to a communications diary type deal, where that was one thing that I really liked about the warrior process and the warrior stacks is that, you're having problems with people or you're having a disagreement. You're going to go through this process of almost seeing why you're upset about it and then almost seeing why they're upset about it. And that's a great way to look at a lot of conflict, is understanding both sides of it. More so to, that's one of the biggest things about with training or any philosophies that I have. I always try to learn the other side of it. So then I could either at least understand it if I want to argue it or get a better understanding of what I'm going to hear, you know. Um, but having better communication skills is key. Number 10, you keep your head down. You keep your head down. So the hoodie, I wear the sweater and the hoodie all the time. It's great to kind of keep inside of your bubble, learn how to get into your own space. It's very crucial. But doing it too often will isolate you. And if you get isolated, you're going to get picked off from the herd. So be aware of that type of self-sabotage. So not only just your own mental capacity of complaining or panicking, but also to how you're acting, what you're giving off as your aura, and then where are you placing yourself in your community, or where you're placing yourself inside of your workspace or where you're at. So just some things to look at when you're out there. You shouldn't really set yourself up for failure. We'll be surprised how often that we could be very successful if we just don't get in the way. Okay, Mikey, does tomorrow's workout work or no?
No, it doesn't work at all.
No. So mad. So mad. At least the internet didn't crash on us. And,
No, it was just a website. It's Beyond the Whiteboard's back up.
And at least it is. Did you get your? Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Tomorrow's workout, Thursday, July 16th, in 20 minutes of more Olympic lifting. So we got a snatch complex. So muscle snatch plus snatch press, 3 plus 3 for 5 sets. Then we have, so on the dock it said power squat. Is that correct?
No, it's a typo.
Okay. Power snatch.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so power snatch, snatch push press for 2 plus 2 for 5 reps. And then we have power snatch plus heaving snatch balance for 1 plus 1. And I'm guessing when we move to every new complex, when we start a new 5 set, we're using the last number that we used in the previous complex.
Yeah, or like within like 2 jumps, 3 jumps.
Got it.
So like the middle number at worst case scenario.
And then afterwards, we have as many an AMRAP in 20 minutes of 5 kipping weighted pull-ups, 10 weighted sit-ups, and then 15 dumbbell squats. 35-25 is the RX weight for tomorrow. And then it says use a single dumbbell for the pull-ups. So I'm guessing you're holding this between your feet. And then set up, and for the sit-ups and the squats, you use 2 dumbbells.
Yep. The workout is the scale for the pull-ups is strict pull-ups, kipping with the weight. I think RX Plus is strict with the weight, and then almost like Fit Plus, what we call it at the gym, is strict pull-ups, and then after that it would be kipping pull-ups and then jumping pull-ups, spring rows. So the strict pull-ups are pretty tough. So even doing a kip to negative is almost more important than just doing weighted kipping pull-ups. So we just got to be aware of what your actual pull-up ability is. And most of us are probably either going to do 5 or 3-2 because it's just chin over. And then the weighted sit-up, be aware of, holding your core tight through the whole process of it because you are holding a weight now. I think we can get pretty lazy on this. This is where I would get nervous with it. Touch behind, touch in front. And this normally we go butterfly sit-up. So tomorrow we'll go what I call military. So feet down, feet flat, and then dumbbell squats. Go for it, huh? What do you think, Mikey?
I mean,
20 minutes. 20 minutes.
It's 20 minutes of, I think what you're doing is like a calisthenic, like you said, military style. So it's just kind of grinding through it, kind of like today's workout called the Reaper. And then the first part's just surviving through. I mean, the first 2 days of barbell cycling we've done, and movement and technique work is just like pounding on my traps. So I feel like I'm shrugging even like when I'm not holding a barbell.
Yeah, the traps are on fire.
Yep.
Oh man. So right, let's bang out our daily focus and let's call it a night. Let's get out. Let's get out safe. So, healthy eating tips. Healthy eating tips. Man, everything's got PowerPoint. 1, 2, 3. I'm just shoving numbers at you guys tonight. So healthy eating tips. Number 1, base your meals on higher fiber, starchy carbohydrate. So looking for things that are got fibers with the starchy carbohydrates are going to help you to digest a little better. It's going to take you away from those, getting away from a little bit of complex carbs. And then I would just be aware of how much I'm taking in. Number 2, eat lots of fruits and vegetables. I think a lot of us get scared of the fruit. Be aware that you're trying to eat fruits and vegetables 5 times a day, not both of them 5 times a day, but at least one of them 5 times a day. I would tell you 6, 3 of one, 3 of the other, or 2 of one, 2 of one, 3 of the other. So 2 fruit, 3 vegetables, or vice versa. Don't drink your fruit. So drinking it out of a carton is not okay. If you blend it or juice like vegetables and then blend it with fruit, that's okay as well. Just be aware of how much you're fruit drinking, and know the difference between a protein drink and a smoothie. You could have one a day. Just be aware of it, the amount. And then dried fruit should always be eaten somewhere around meals or in a snack that's meal based. So I'm having dried fruit with nuts and also to maybe meat like the salami or like protein shake or something like that. Or the meat stick. Number 3, eat more fish. Include try to eat proteins that are the oil fish that are fattier in oil. So a lot of us sometimes will go to more white or like tilapia or whitefish, especially if we're trying to cut, which is good. But we should also stay towards fish that are oily or oily fish. So like salmon, trout, herring, sardines, and mackerel. There's a couple others, but I'm not a big fan of, like, every once in a while I'll have some sardines, super salty, kind of have to be in the mood for it, and it has to be made properly for me. Mackerel's never really been a fan of it. And then the other one, trout, herring, and salmon, I can deal with it even raw or cooked. So cut down on number 4, cut down on saturated fats and refined sugars. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory at this point, being aware of how much fats you're taking in and then how much sugar you're taking in. Like when Mikey and I were talking about earlier at the snack and thinking about those sugary Jolly Ranchers, those things, my teeth just now are starting to feel normal again. So I can really tell that amount of sugar can't be good. So be aware of the refined sugar or like processed sugar that you're eating. Number 5, do not get thirsty and do not overdrink water. The big thing with water is that you gotta drink, and this is something that I suck at, drinking 8 ounces a day or 8 glasses a day. Sometimes I'll get more into that 6 glasses a day, but I need to be drinking 8, 12. But on the other side too, I don't want to start getting into the habit of drinking 200 ounces of water and I'm not really sweating it out. So if I'm sweating it out, then it's okay. So I can be aware of weighing in before my workout, weighing in afterwards. And then if I'm dropping a bunch of weight, I want to add in actual water into my diet so I don't lose strength or endurance while I'm putting that out in training. So I ask a lot of our athletes to weigh in before and after, especially as we get into the summer. I'm also very aware of how much water we're taking in. Taking in too much water is never good. So we gotta be aware of that consistently, where we're told, hey, drink as much water as you can, where the being bloated will kind of almost slow down the digestive system. Okay. Do not skip breakfast. Number 6, do not skip breakfast. Even if you're doing an intermittent fasting and you would start your meal, you would still start eating, and then you're going to continue from there. So wherever you add in the start point of eating, you should always think of that as almost like breakfast, second meal, lunch, snack, which is snack-based meal, and then dinner. I think those are very crucial to getting success with training or dieting. You're going to always eat somewhere around 4 to 5 times a day, whether it's inside of a 6-8 hour window or it's throughout the whole day. But understanding that the start of the process of eating always needs to happen. So if you're eating throughout the day, you're not really following intermittent fasting, and you're not looking at your caloric intakes in a certain window, make sure that you always start with breakfast. Get that metabolism moving. Cool. All right. Mikey's over there switching stuff. We got to call it a night. It's Wednesday. We're getting all the Wednesday vibes. All right, guys. Mikey, thank you, man. I love you. Great work today. Thank you, guys. We got a lot of good stuff coming. So you guys have a good night. Oof. Man. Mikey, we're going to need a beer after this situation here.
I'm not even sure what's going on right now. The internet doesn't want to work with us today.
Doesn't like you. Doesn't like you at all. It fired me a long time ago.